The new set of Titleist irons.
Lunch. I just said I brought peanut butter and jelly today, so.
Me too.
Ditto.
But we're glad that you've joined us for our annual luncheon. Who knew last year when we had one on Zoom, we'd be doing this again? I don't think any of us really realized how long this would last, but we are here to celebrate this last year, this most remarkable year, and to talk about our great comeback. So we are glad you're all here. Heidi is recording today, so that if you have friends who couldn't come, we have people who called and said, oh, I've got a doctor's appointment and I'm going to miss it. So we are recording it and are putting the link in the Ollie notes. So that will be available if you know of anyone who missed it and was sad about that. And so also, like you can see right now, you probably should just see me. Heidi has highlighted me and she'll highlight each speaker so that you see them big on your screen. You may see all the other people across the top, but just remember, y'all are all Zoom experts now, and you sort of have control of your own screen. And if you want to scroll through and see who else here, you can do that. So just know that we did mute everyone so that we don't have a doorbell or a phone ringing or something like that. So we are glad you're here. We have some fun planned for this next hour. And I think that's all the housekeeping I need to do. So I'm going to hand it over to our Mistress of Ceremonies, Linda Kelly.
And she's muted.
Linda, are you with us?
Hold on, everyone. There are so many of you. I can't find Linda on my spotlight. There
Linda, you're muted.
I've unmuted myself. I don't know how I got muted, but I've unmuted myself. Can you hear me? Oh, good. Okay, so welcome to the second Ollie Zoom luncheon. The theme for our luncheon is great comebacks. Late one cold, snowy December evening in 1967, I stood on Main Street in Greenville, South Carolina, up near where the Hyatt is today. I was brand new to town. My mission was Christmas shopping. Spread out before me was a wonderland. Christmas lights along Main Street were nestled in the trees, outlining store fronts and shining through wreaths on poles. It was beautiful. Christmas music played from speakers placed down the street. When I came out of a store, I sang along from one store to the next. I do not ever remember feeling more Christmassy. I shopped at Ivy's, Myers Arnold, Hayward Mann's Men's Shop, Hale's Jewelers, Mary Prater's Art Gallery, Ayers Leather, and Belk's. I passed people in line for the 3 movie theaters. I even stopped at Carpenter Brothers drugstore for a hot chocolate. I remember thinking as I walked back up Main Street, what a wonderful town Greenville is. And then only slightly more than a year later, McAllister Square Indoor Shopping Mall opened on Pleasantburg Drive. Most of the downtown stores moved from Main Street to the new mall. And just like that, Greenville's Main Street effectively disappeared. Some stores stayed, but by the late 1970s and early 1980s, most storefront windows were papered over. Eventually, the Poinsett Hotel was boarded up It was not so safe to be on Main Street in Greenville, South Carolina. I did not think Greenville would be making a comeback. Neither did most other Greenvillians. The hope that Greenville's Main Street would survive in any kind of acceptable form was minute, almost non-existent. I give you this background for you to begin to think about what we're going to talk about in our breakup groups. A couple of things to think about before you begin visiting. We're talking about great comebacks. And great comebacks have many forms. For instance, you might consider sports teams and individual sports players. You could consider businesses and politicians who have made great comebacks. What about personal comebacks, or famous stars, or financial comebacks, or great comebacks from history, or even people who have overcome addictions? The areas you can consider in our breakout groups are endless. So the question for discussion is, what is the greatest comeback you have witnessed in your lifetime, or read about, or remember from the past? What great comeback caused you to marvel at the amazing resilience that people have? Now I'll turn the program over to Nancy, who is in charge of the placement of the visiting rooms. Nancy?
So last year at the luncheon, we knew that one of the things we missed was chatting with your table at lunch. So this is your 10 minutes to chat with your table mates. Heidi has put us randomly into breakout rooms. So if you've not done that before, you'll get a little invitation on your screen that says, do you want to go to breakout room number 4 or whatever? And you say yes. And you'll be in a room with about 6 other people. And Linda has told us what we want to talk about our greatest comebacks and what we're looking forward to. And so we'll see you there. That'll be about 10 minutes. And then we'll come back into the Zoom room for the rest of our meeting.
All right, you all, they should be there for you to select at the bottom to join the breakout.
Not
That's
seeing
right.
it yet, Heidi.
Not yet.
You haven't seen it?
There it is. Got it.
Join.
And as quickly as they came, there they go. And you all that are muted, you can at the bottom join, or if you don't want to join, you can stay here. Am I sensing that you all just are going to hold out for just a little bit? Let me make sure that I've got people in each room. So good to see everybody's face. Let's see. So you all may be multitasking, which is totally great. We're just going to hang out here while let me assign. There we go. Kathy, I just put you assigned you to a breakout room. So for anybody that's still here, if you would like to go to a breakout room, you just go to the bottom and click join. And if you're not and you want to just do something else, then you can hang out with us. I'm going to keep admitting people, and so that's why I'm not talking to you all right this second. I'm going to just get these last folks in to a breakout room. Hey, Cheryl, I'm going to put you in a breakout room. You do not have to you don't have to turn on your camera to go. You can just go and keep it just like it is. Oh, there we got one more coming. So fun to see everybody. And I'm looking and seeing, there we go. Oh, there's somebody else. And Mary, I just put you in a breakout room. Okay, now this is something new. Somebody's asked for help, so I'm gonna go help them real quick. You all just enjoy yourselves for a moment.
It's just a good reminder there. You know, that was a great comeback for him. It was a great comeback for our family. And we called it our summer of healing because there were days and hours where I thought this was not a good idea. I don't see it.
I think from the breakouts and the chance to get to talk to people, you realize that Ollie gives us such a unique opportunity for making friends. Friends we would not know under any other circumstances. And some of our dearest Ollie friends have died since we last met. I'd like for us to pause for just a moment in honor and memory of those Ollie members who are no longer with us. And I will read the names. Rick Carpenter, Ray Denny, Jill First, Ron Goldberg, Daryl Harrison, Rick.
Linda, somehow you got muted.
I'm going to start the list again, if that's all right with you. I don't know how I got muted. Rick Carpenter, Ray Denny, Jill First, Ron Goldberg, Daryl Harrison, Rick Horsfall, Rupert Hughes, Dan Capel, Linda Lavender, Simone Lindeman, Ed Muse. Somebody told me last night that Ed Muse started taking classes at Ollie when he was 101 years old. So George Obelinsky, Jim Pitts, Kathy Robertson, Carl Sedlers, Ruby Teague, Susan Trainum, Jeff Willis. Thank you for this moment to remember these very special members of Ollie. I'd like to turn the meeting over to Ollie Director Nancy Kennedy for the State of Ollie address. Thank you, Nancy.
Thanks, Linda. It is great to see so many people here, and we are glad that Linda is serving as our MC, and we're glad all of you came today to look back on this most remarkable year. Linda's been reminding us about downtown Greenville's comeback, and if you are new to Greenville, that's probably one of the things that brought you here. And if you've been in Greenville a long time, you saw the fall and the rise. So that is a great analogy when we're thinking about comebacks. There are plenty of great sports comebacks to think about. I'm not very well versed on those. I'm going to talk about the best comeback I can think of, which is Ollie's comeback. So if you think back to last spring, I'm not sure any of us really knew on March the 13th what we really were in for. I don't think any of us really understood how long this was going to be, or at least I'm speaking for myself. I certainly didn't have a full understanding of that. When we closed Ollie and canceled the spring term, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know a whole lot about virtual opportunities. I knew that you could do such things. I didn't know how you all would react. I didn't know if our instructors would want to teach. We didn't know how long the pandemic would last. I look back at old emails from last March and April saying, oh, we're going to have classes in June. It'll be fine. So that's a little bit funny to think about because how wrong I was. So do you remember coming to the luncheon last year? We had it on Zoom. And for many of you, it was the first time you'd been to a Zoom event. We put you in breakout rooms. We shared screens. We highlighted other Zoom features to give you a little tour of what Zoom could be like. And now it's hard for any of us to remember what it was like before we knew how to Zoom. I'm looking at a lot of you have backgrounds up. Who knew what a Zoom background was a year ago? You've learned how to light your desk to get the best view on Zoom. You've learned how to share screens and go to breakout rooms. And we've all learned how to enhance our appearance on Zoom. If you haven't learned that, come to one of Elise's Zoom orientation sessions and she will hook you up. Then we came back a little bit in the summer. We had about 300 members and 14 volunteer instructors lead our way back by offering a summer term. We had people taking classes. We had 14 courses that we offered. And we all learned, or at least I learned, that Ollie could be much more engaging on Zoom, that the classes could be much more engaging than we ever imagined. And we were grateful for that. These intrepid members and volunteers led the way to fall. When 1,094 of you chose to come back to Ollie, 100% on Zoom for 62 courses. So I can't say enough about how much I appreciate the faith you had in the program, and it also showed us how important the program is to all of you. So fall went well, and we continued on through the winter and spring with more courses, learning more about Zoom, bringing in a few more people. We got up to 1,305 members, I think, for this year, which is about half of where we were last year. So it's disappointing that we're missing 1,300 people that we have not gotten to see this year. And we hope to see them coming back next year. Just for reference, that is really what Ollies across the country are seeing, is about a 50% drop. So we are very sad to not have 50% of our people with us, but we also are comforted in knowing that maybe that's typical across the country. Many of you have asked about those numbers, so I wanted to make sure I shared those with you. Our committees found a way to carry on. The social committee, my goodness, who knew we could be social on Zoom? We had happy hours. We had a yappy hour where people could bring their dogs and cats and other pets. We had so much fun trivia nights on Zoom. And they are thinking ahead to fall in ways that we can continue to be social, especially once we can get back together. I'm really hoping that when we are fully through this, we'll have a mask burning party. So stay tuned for that. That will be my favorite social event if we get to do that. Other volunteers, our curriculum committee, my goodness, they found instructors who could teach on Zoom and kept us going with great classes. The finance committee made sure we weathered this storm financially. Many of you may not really know all about our finances. We usually turn over a little bit of a profit to Furman University. We pay all of our own way. The finance committee for many years had very wisely put money aside in some reserve funds for a rainy day. And it started raining last spring. So we were very grateful to have those funds to carry us through what was a very lean financial year, so that we've come out on the other side with our staff intact and ready to bring Ollie back in a more full way. So I'm very grateful to all of them. Ollie Council supported all of us, the staff and the other volunteers, and cheered us along. Volunteers volunteered as tech assistants in classes. We had volunteers who called members to check on them. We called everyone who had not joined us and said, we miss you at Ollie and we just hope you're okay. So many things that kept going in a little bit different way than we usually have at Ollie, but that volunteer engagement and involvement continue to be so important. Furman was a huge support to us. They provided Zoom licenses for all of us at no cost to Ollie. So we were able to give Zoom licenses to many of our instructors so that they could run classes without so much staff support. Furman also made sure we had the proper computer hardware to be able to do what we did, and provided IT support. We could pick up the phone and call, and we had a question about something we were trying to do, and the help desk was so helpful to us to make sure that we were successful. I can't talk about the staff's comeback because they never left. Susan, Pam, Heidi, Jessica, and Elise, I hope you will all give them a round of applause. Had to work at home for many months, which was not what anybody wanted to do. And in many ways found that they had completely new job descriptions. You know, we had to look at new ways of doing things. Elise and Jessica particularly picked up new things that they had never been responsible for before. I'm grateful for all of their hard work, and I know you all are as well, and I hope you will share that with them when you see them, or if you want to send them an email. I really just am grateful for the whole staff, the team we have here, and how we were able to figure out what to do when we could not be together in person. And now we really are preparing for a great comeback. In January, past president and chair of our long range planning committee, Sally Bourne-Mueller, assembled a crackerjack committee of OLLI members to think about our return. They sought answers to questions ranging from what kind of signage do we need, to does the HVAC system work properly to make sure we're safe, and so much more. They asked questions I never would have come up with, which helped me get the answers from Furman and make sure that we were doing everything we could do to bring all of you back into our building in a safe way. And now we're doing it. I hope all of you received an email from me yesterday saying that campus is open for outside enjoyment. We've already heard and caught glimpses of many OLLI members who have been to campus to walk around the lake, to ride bikes, walk their dogs. It's so great that Furman has been able to do that. As I said in my letter, I appreciate all of your patience and understanding while campus was closed. The great news is that Furman was able, because of all the protocols they put in place, to keep our students on campus the whole year. And some colleges were not as successful at that. So we are glad that was a success here at Furman for our undergraduate students. So beginning June 1st, you can stop by the Herring Center if you want to pick up a book from the Book Nook, or if you need to pay a bill or drop something off. If you have artwork that's been held hostage here for a year, you can come pick that up. And then the following week, our summer classes will begin. 346 of you have registered for summer classes. We have 100% Zoom classes. We have some 100% in-person classes, and we have some hybrid offerings. So there'll be people sitting in the classroom here in our building and people Zooming in at the same time. Jim Nicholson, who is chair of our curriculum committee, is also a fantastic OLLI instructor, and he is testing out that hybrid situation. He's learned how to do it, and we think it's going to go great this summer, and then he'll be able to help more instructors offer hybrid offerings in the fall once he has that experience. So I hope we'll see a lot of you then. We are planning for a more complete fall. I think Susan told me this morning we have 92 courses submitted for fall. That's getting back up to we were at about 120 courses pre-pandemic. So that's a great number. We're grateful to our instructors. We don't know yet about how far apart we have to sit. So we don't know yet what our capacities will be, but we do have a lot of classes for fall in all three formats, as I mentioned. We're also going to bring along some of the things we learned over the past year in our comeback. As I said, Zoom is always going to be with us. We found that there are people who really like that. Maybe it's harder to get to campus now. Maybe they're going to be traveling one term, but they could Zoom in for an OLLI class and not miss that connection while they're away. So that will be with us. Hybrid classes are a really neat idea as well. And so we are glad to find some silver linings from this past year and take them with us into the future. But most importantly, as we come back, I think we're all bringing back a greater appreciation for this OLLI community. We have missed, the staff has missed seeing all of you in person. I think all of you have missed running into your OLLI friends. And so we look forward to more opportunities to do just that. I know I appreciate all of you, and I just can't wait to see you in person.
Thank you, Nancy. We have a lot of hope and a lot of excitement to look forward to. It looks like OLLI's on a pretty good wave towards its comeback. already. People are planning for it and hoping for it, and it'll be fun to see everybody again. We have some mighty smart people at Ollie. Every year we have Latin award winners. In fact, Ollie at Furman is the only Ollie in the country whose students take and excel in the National Latin exam. And Jenny Anderson was telling me just a few minutes ago that this is 10 years of Ollie, our Ollie being the only one where we have a Latin class and that the students take the exam. So I'd like to introduce to you Jenny Anderson, who will announce the award. Thank you, Jenny.
Okay, well, thank you very much. It's an honor for me to be able to sit here again after 10 years to say, despite COVID and despite the pandemic and despite the Zoom classes and despite actually only meeting an hour and a half a week, during which time, most of the time, they're watching me fool with AV that I can't control. We have actually one of our students has distinguished herself on what they call the National Latin Exam, which is actually an international exam, as it is given in all 50 states and this year 20 foreign countries. And she not only distinguished herself, but she got a first prize. There were 88,000 people who took this exam, and they're down about a half. That's a little over a half from the normal. Her name is Susan Curtin. She actually took the Latin 3 exam. This exam runs from all levels. So you can see young people taking it. You can see high schools in the paper taking it. You can also see 23 colleges and universities this year took it. There's something for everybody. And Susan, coming out of, I'm particularly proud of this, coming out of a Julius Caesar's Gallic War class, took Latin 3, which is, you know, if you've taken Latin before, that's normally Cicero. And she not only got a first place, she only missed one. She also got a beautiful gold medal. You ought to see these new gold medals. It's just, they've got like a Furman lavalier, and then they've got this great big gold medal. It's just gorgeous. And this is her third gold medal in a row, and one a first place before that. So I would say that Susan knows what she's doing. And I think it's an amazing thing. The people at Ollie, the Latin students at Ollie, are amazingly high in their accomplishment. And I do want to say this, I do want to say this one thing. This is not the type of test that you sign up to take and then you come home with a trophy. I sort of heard something like that once leaving a luncheon. No. Last year, for instance, the statistics on the 2020 exam, where we had quite a few winners, were that only 37% of all people who undertake the test got anything whatsoever at all. And that includes a postcard. Thank you for taking the thing, which they don't send. So really, what our Ollie members have done for 10 years is extraordinary. And I hope I've said everything. And so thank you very much.
Thank you, Jenny. We're so proud. We are so fortunate to have you and to have people who are interested. I ran into Judy Brooks walking the other day, and she just casually told me that she was signing up for Latin and also, I believe, Greek. So I gave her a big hug and told her congratulations and do well. The Grants Committee, chaired by Mike Pillsbury, is pleased to announce that instructor Lynn Duncan has been awarded a grant to be used to enhance his class entitled Every Day is a Circus Day. So, I mean, that sounds like a class I'd like to take. So I hope he gets it all put together, and the grant should help him do that. Before we get down to business, I had two notices on my screen that a person had been left off who we should have remembered in memorial, and her name is Judy Steele. So I wanted to add her name to our list. I think about her as you think about everybody else on the list. So in the year of the coronavirus, Ollie was fortunate to have strong leadership. You heard Nancy talk about that, to move us through a difficult time. The most important part of that team, that leadership team, was David Johnson, Ollie's current president, who took over last year in the midst of great challenges fueled by the pandemic. Thank you, David, for your part in keeping Ollie alive and kicking and on the right track. Thank you so much. David will conduct the business portion of our meeting.
Got 106 people online.
That's great.
Okay, thank you, Linda. And I'd like to call the Ollie General Meeting to order. It's certainly been a memorable year for all of us. When we decided that Great Comebacks was going to be the theme for today, I remembered how fortunate I was in 2019 to be given a ticket for Sunday at the Masters. When that week started, I never expected Tiger Woods to win after a 14-year gap since his last Masters victory. He had hit the bottom in both his personal life and his golf career. My friend and I had seats at Amen Corner for most of the day, and when the leaders approached, Tiger was 2 shots behind Francisco Molinari. We watched as 4 of the leading golfers put their tee shots on the par 3 12th hole into the water. Tiger, on the other hand, hit the middle of the green and walked off the hole with a par and tied for the lead. You knew you were witnessing a historic comeback as the ground actually reverberated as he took the lead with birdies on holes 13, 15, and 16. He walked off the 18th hole with his 5th Masters championship and into the arms of his 2 children. During the 2021 year, Ollie began its comeback after last spring's shutdown. And in the fall, this past fall, began offering some excellent classes during the next 3 terms. As Nancy mentioned, we also were able to offer a variety of special events and programs like trivia and cocktails with the curator. Thank you to all the instructors who stepped up, the staff who helped with each class, and all the volunteers who helped organize and participate during this past year. We certainly are on our way to a great comeback. I would like to recognize our outgoing Ollie Council members and thank them for their service. Ron Eldridge did a great job as the Vice President of Finance and Administration for the past 3 years. And as Nancy mentioned, got us through, helped get us through, along with his predecessors and committee members, a very tough financial year. And we're in good stead heading into the next year. Also thank 2 at-large members whose terms expired, Cheryl Kottner and Mary Kay Kantz, for their contributions as Ollie Council members. Thank you very much. As you're all aware, Ollie is very fortunate to have a great number of wonderful volunteers. They help in the office as class liaisons and on our many committees. Each year, we recognize one of these outstanding members with the Volunteer of the Year award. The recipient receives a 6-course package and has their name permanently displayed on a plaque in the Herring Building. After retiring from Furman, our winner this year joined Ollie in January 2020, right before the pandemic. We soon all realized that course offerings for the near future would have to be virtual. And this former IT professional stepped up immediately to offer training and guidance on using Zoom to our staff, our instructors, and any member who needed help. The staff reported he had a 100% success rate. There was not one problem sent to him that was not fixed. So it's my honor to recognize Mr. Wade Shepard as the 2020 Volunteer of the Year. I count myself as one of the many beneficiaries of Wade's great patience and knowledge. Thank you, Wade, and congratulations.
Yay. And thank you for this. As you can see, as usual, my manager is on the bed behind me and she is, as usual, asleep. Anyway, thank you very much.
You're very welcome, and we couldn't have done it without you. Look forward to a calmer year for you coming up. It's now time for election of new Ollie Council members. I'd like to thank Bob McGrath and the nominating committee for presenting us with an excellent slate of candidates. For the position of Vice President membership and President-elect, Kathy Rode. Vice President of Finance and Administration for a 2-year term, Don Hubble. And 2 new members at large for 3-year terms, Marion Perdue and Mary Beth Steck. At this time, are there any nominations from the floor? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed with the vote, which will show up as a poll on your screen. All right, the poll closed. I'd like to report we had 100% affirmative vote. And so let's congratulate our new council members for the 2021-2022 year. At this point, I'm pleased to introduce my friend and frequent co-instructor, Bob McGrath. I look forward to working with Bob, the council, Nancy, and the entire staff next year as we emerge better than ever from the pandemic and have a tiger-like Ollie comeback. Bob, please join me online for the virtual passing of the gavel. Great.
Well done.
Bob,
Unmute.
you're muted.
I got it. Just the simple things, David, I think the gavel came back a little bit smaller. It's not as big as the one that was passed. I just want to tell you that that's what virtual does to you. I'd like to take a couple minutes to cover a couple of things, and I know they gave me 2 or 3 minutes, but 2 of these are, one especially is very important, is to thank and talk about the job that David has done in probably one of the most challenging environments at the time. Not many of us have ever been called a virtual president, which he has been, and hopefully many of us don't want to be called a visual president in the future. But I really think of David as Mr. Ollie because of what he's done. He always, with the teaching of the classes that I've interacted with him on, has been on the forefront. He was working through the campus closure, starting the virtual classes, working through that. and, developing many things, like using what I call the old Shark Tank, where he interacted with Furman students who their entrepreneurial skills were brought out and used. And he's also been, to me and others, both a teacher and a mentor, and that he's continuously led membership drives, but at the same time has helped define and identify people for future leadership roles. So all of that leads to the belief that if anybody would be called Mr. Ali, it's David Johnson. And by the way, I think there's a special gift for him that is going to be presented, right? Which is?
I don't know what it is, but thank you very much.
David was hoping for a set of golf clubs, but I'm not sure.
Well, I don't think they quite fit in this bag, but thank you for the kind words, Bob, and I look forward to working with you as a member of the council next year.
Thanks, David. One other thing is we talked about David with the present in the past. Something to think about in the future, and one of the things that two or three things to think about. Number one, the pandemic has really given us an opportunity, even as bad as it was and such, but it's given Ali a chance to innovate in the sense that not only do we have in-house classes again, but we also have the visual or the virtual opportunity to fill those roles where people will not be able to attend. So hopefully by combining both, we will have a new start, a continuation of the success that we've had before. And really, I look at that opportunity as and looking at we talked about, we have a goal, we had 1,305 people, which was half of what we had before. So the thought is, how can we get the others to return to Ali, the new Ali, the Ali of innovation? So I look forward to working with that. The next step is, as many of you know and have been familiar with, Greenville has, I think, been rated as one of the top places to come to in the United States. And as such, many of you know that there's a new group of people who are coming in, but sadly to say, many of them don't know about Ali. So the idea of going forward and developing an idea around new to Greenville, how about Ali is an idea, and how do we get those folks to think about Ali, as I did once about 7 years ago, and helped me stay and grow and meet people, and was very part of my life in hiking and doing the things like that. So emphasis is on the past and the people that we've had in the past, and in the future of the people that are new to Greenville, and I know want to know about Ali. And then finally is a continuous thing is the development of the curriculum and the advancement of it, and finding the additional courses that make this whole program so interesting and wanting to come to. So it's going to be a great year, and a year of innovation, a great year to come back to, and a lot of fun. So thank you very much, David, and thanks to everybody else for that. And I guess I turn it back to you, Linda.
All right. Thank you, Bob, so much. You give us a lot of hope. We are on a big comeback. I don't see that we're going to run into too many problems with all the people who are helping us get there. I do want to show you my shirt. I think that it maybe says a little bit about what Bob was saying when he was saying, we hope we can get back to our normal number. So I'm going to stand up and see if you can read it. I don't know if you can read it or not, but I'll read it to you if you can't. It says, underestimate me. That'll be fun. So let's not underestimate Ali. If you do, that'll be fun because we're going to make it back. Completing the idea for our theme of comeback, I would like to finish my story about Greenville's great comeback. And Bob talked about the fact that Greenville is one of the #1 places in the country for several things, including people moving here because it's such a great place. When I left you just a few minutes ago talking about Greenville, it was in despair. If any of you came during the 70s or 80s and dared to walk down Main Street, you know that there was brown paper covering most of the storefront windows. You know about the Weston Poinsett being boarded up, and you know that it was not safe. It was not a safe place to be. Everything had gone out to the malls. So the thing about Greenville that I didn't know was that about 30 determined and influential people had gotten together and decided that Greenville's Main Street would come back from its desperate situation. What they had was a vision, and that vision included uncovering the river, which was hidden by old textile mills. The next step was to reveal the beautiful falls that most Greenvillians did not even know existed because the falls could not be seen from Main Street. There were other parts of the vision too, such as a center for the performing arts and many other creative ideas to lure businesses and people, families back to Main Street. There had to be reasons to come. Making a comeback requires not just a vision, but also enough clout, enough determination, enough guts to take those steps needed to walk forward into a new and better situation. So it was with Greenville's Main Street. Today's beautiful Main Street with its lovely storefronts, the Hyatt Hotel, the restored Weston Poinsett, its great restaurants, beautiful parks, the Peace Center, the Liberty Bridge over the falls, the Reedy River meandering through town, its art, and all the other exciting things that make Greenville's downtown spectacular did not occur overnight. It took years. It took not giving up. It took many people willing to take chances. Today, you can amble through the Saturday market, drop by Mass General Store for some Tootsie Rolls, and pick up the clues for finding the 9 mice on Main Street. All of this is possible because many people believed in Greenville's future enough to work for it, enough to fight for it. And that's what I'm hearing you say today about Ollie. We believe enough, and it's going to be better than ever. The same principles apply to Ollie. When the pandemic closed us down, we were not down and out. We found ways to connect. As you have heard, we had a vision. Nancy, Pam, Susan, Heidi, Elise, and Jessica, our instructors, our Ollie officers, our committees, and yes, you were determined not to let Ollie die. We had a vision of Ollie's returning better and more exciting than ever. And now it's about to happen. Our great comeback is in the works. Thank you, everybody, for being here, for being a support for everything everyone has tried to do. See you all in person in September when Ollie's great comeback becomes a reality. Next year, the Ollie Luncheon will not be on Zoom. We will be celebrating our great comeback year in person. Thank you for coming. We have a video which will show for about 5 minutes. If you would like to see it, linger with us a little while longer. Thank you and goodbye. Thank you all so much for being here. We will see you possibly in June and certainly in September. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.